Time. Ever since we figured out what it was, we've been losing it. Time. As soon as we figured out we were losing it, we learned to track it. Time. Who has the time? Time, the thing I don't have enough of. The earliest calendar we can find dates back to 4236 BCE in ancient Egypt. Wow, that's a long time ago. And they divided the year into 12 months, with each month having 30 days. With the first day of the year beginning with the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, rising before the sun. Interestingly enough, the length of time it takes for this Hellenical rising of Sirius is exactly the same length as one solar year. Hellenical, that's fun to say. Hellenical is when a star occurs annually, when it first becomes visible above the eastern horizon, a brief moment just before the sun comes up. The solar year is exactly 365.242199 days long. And therefore, the Egyptian calendar was extremely accurate and calculated to 365 days. 12 times 30 is 360, so that leaves 5 days. And the rest of the days were there for festivals and parties and drinks and eating and oh my god, I'm so hungry.
I like the party.
I'm impressed. They did all of that with simple observation. Science! Let's talk about the Romans now. Ooh, the Romans sound fun. The Roman calendar originally had 10 months because they didn't really count winter as anything. It was just empty space of nothingness. Because pretty much everyone hates winter. Nobody likes winter. You can't plant anything during winter. I don't like winter. It's cold. Winter is coming. There's this thing called seasonal depression because of winter. Winter's way too cold. And pretty much no one likes winter at all. So they left those 62 days nameless. They just didn't count. Because in the Roman calendar, the first day of the year started with March. Thus the beginning of spring. Spring equals the new year, new life, green, the fun stuff. This would be why September, October, November, December in Latin correlates to 7, 8, 9, 10 respectively. Sepa is 7, Oc is 8, November is some derivative of 9, and Deca means 10. Oh, that makes sense. Which would be why they had 10 months, December being the 10th month. However, somebody thought this was really stupid that we pretty much leave winter nameless, so they decided to give it 2 more months, January and February. Of course they put these months on the bottom of the calendar, them being the last months, having March being the first of the month with spring. Hurry up and be spring! Romans thought that even numbers were extremely unlucky, which I can kind of understand. Do you think even numbers are unlucky? February being the last month, therefore got the least amount of days. Because, let's be real, I'm over winter. Hurry up and be spring! No one wants to stay in winter longer than they need to. I need to get my tan on. Even the groundhog agrees with me. So now this Roman calendar had 12 months with exactly 355 days in it. By the time Julius Caesar implemented his calendar, the Romans have already given themselves 12 months and a leap year. The Julian calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar in 46 BCE. Therefore, the Julian calendar became the prominent calendar of the world, with Rome dominating most of the known world at the time. And then after that, Britain, which was a part of the Roman Empire, imperializing the whole world. And then America doing the same. Who would have thought Julius Caesar would be so influential? What Julius Caesar did, he made the first day of the year January 1st, moved February and January to the top, making December the bottom, which makes sense now why December, which means 10, is actually the 12th month. He renamed the 5th month July after himself, because when you make a calendar, you get to name something after yourself, obviously. And the 6th month, he gave his successor, Augustus, so he can name it after himself. What a nice guy. And he needed to add 10 more days. So of course, July and August, being the most important months, being named after Roman Caesars, got 31 days. 2 extra days were added to January, August, and December, and 1 extra day was added to April, June, September, and November. However, even though the Julian calendar did a great job of implementing a new system and setting us up for success, the Julian calendar still miscalculated the length of the solar year by 11 minutes. Therefore, every 128 years, the calendar would be in error by 1 day. So over the course of 1500 years, the calendar got off by 10 days. And thus begins the next part of our story. 1500 years later, let's set the scene. The Roman Empire has fallen, and the Catholic Church has taken its place. And Europe sits in the shadow of the Middle Ages, where feudalism reigns. And no one has any free time because they're pretty much all serfs. No, they don't actually go surfing. No. They're like a serf to a feudal lord. So they're basically slaves. Yay, feudalism! Okay, moving forward. So around this time, monks and mad scientists were the only ones with enough time to actually do science-y stuff, like observe nature. Monks were actually discouraged from even thinking about time because it was considered a secular issue, and studying time was like prying into God's affairs. Ergo, it wasn't until 1582 till the monks figured out that Easter was 10 days of where it should be. This concerned the Catholics because it meant Easter fell on the wrong day. And you can't have Easter on the wrong day. What's wrong with you guys? Which, according to Jewish and Christian tradition, Jesus' death and resurrection occurred around the time of Jewish Passover, which is celebrated on the first full moon following the vernal/spring equinox. The vernal equinox, or the spring equinox, is the moment the sun crosses the celestial equator, which is an imaginary line in the sky right above the real equator, which is also imaginary. Wait, I don't know that. Caleb, go to the equator and find out. Ah! Thank goodness he's gone. Hopefully he'll be gone a while. An Italian scientist whose name I'm absolutely gonna butcher, Aloysius Lilalith. I'm not Italian. Thank you for butchering that. Came up with a system that later became the Gregorian calendar, named after Pope Gregory. However, the scientist was actually too chicken to present it himself, so he made his brother do it. So sad. So sad. New system stated that instead of having a leap year every 4 years, you would have a leap year on every 4 years, except the years that were divisible by 100. But if the year was divisible by 400, you leaped it. Ironically, by the time the Catholic Church buckled under scientific reasoning, they did not have enough power to implement the change. Protestant track writers at the time responded by calling Pope Gregory the Antichrist, claiming that the real purpose of the calendar was to keep true Christians from celebrating on the right days, even though they found out scientifically it was on the wrong day to begin with. Thumbs up if you believe in the Antichrist. Protestant Germany was smarter than everyone else. They switched in 1700. England held out till 1752. The last European country to switch was Greece in 1923. What? Dear Christian, science is not the enemy. However, the Gregorian calendar is still 20 seconds off. And by the year 4909, our calendar will be 1 full day off of the solar year. That's 1 day for every 3,323 years. I make a motion right here, right now, on this YouTube channel, that in the year 4909, that we have February 2nd twice. We should make that day Groundhog Day. The Gregorian calendar is still in error. Can we make a calendar that isn't in error? Is there a better calendar? The International Fixed Calendar was made in 1902 by Moses B. Cotsworth. It provides for 13 months with 28 days each. This is a perennial calendar, which means every day is on the same day of the week. That would suck if you were born on a Wednesday, because then, your birthday would always be on a Wednesday. So the 13th would always be on a Friday. I know it'd be kind of scary for really superstitious people, but we can make that easy change by making Monday the 1st. Ugh, Mondays. This calendar has 364 days, with 1 day at the end of the year called Year Day. Or Cotsworth, of course, making a calendar named after himself, Cotsworth Day. It doesn't fit into any week or any month, it's just 1 extra day at the end of the year. I doubt we'll have the same calendar by 4909. By that time, we'll be using star dates or something, because we'll be traveling the stars. That is, if the robots don't take over yet. That is, if the Antichrist doesn't come. Thumbs up if you want the end of the world to happen. No! 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 Give it to the Protestants to make everything about the Antichrist again. Seriously, it's the same argument they're using now.